We acknowledge the traditional owners of country throughout Australia and recognise their continuing connection to land, waters and culture. We pay our respects to their elders past, present and emerging. Welcome to This Song Is Yours, the podcast where we dive deep into the art of songwriting, chat with some of the most exciting artists in the world, and explore the stories behind their songs. I'm your host, Simon Fink, and thank you for joining us. Our guest this week on the podcast is Melbourne-based singer-songwriter Stella Donnelly. The Air Award-winning Australian artist is beloved for her sharp, honest songwriting and her knack for crafting instantly catchy melodies. Over the past 7 years, she has released 2 critically acclaimed records, Beware of the Dogs and Flood, both of which cemented her as one of the country's most vital and distinctive voices. After wrapping up touring for Flood, Stella took a well-deserved break to reflect and reevaluate her relationship with music, and we're lucky that she did, because this week she returns with her 3rd studio album, Love and Fortune. It is a revealing and deeply introspective record, even by Stella's own standards, and one that once again showcases her razor-sharp lyrical pen and emotional honesty. On today's episode, we are beyond excited to have Stella Donnelly join us to chat all about Love and Fortune. We talk about the creative break that she took and how that sense of renewal can be felt across this new record. We discuss her songwriting process, how songs sometimes shift direction mid-creation, and what it's been like preparing to take these new tracks out on tour. Now, we want to say a massive thank you to Emma for her help with today's episode and remind everyone that the brand new Stella Donnelly record, Love and Fortune, is out everywhere tomorrow. You'll find links in the show notes on where you can purchase the album, grab tickets to her upcoming tour, and follow her across all of her socials. While you are in the show notes, please make sure you subscribe to This Song Is Yours and go follow us across all of our socials on Instagram and on TikTok. We'd love it if you did. It really does help us out, and it ensures that you stay up to date with new episodes, guests, and all the other things that we've got going on. Now let's get into it. Here is our conversation with Stella Donnelly. Please welcome to This Song Is Yours, the absolutely lovely Stella Donnelly. Stella, hello there. How's it going?
Hi, I'm going great, thank you. Thanks for having me.
My pleasure. I'm so super excited that we've got a lot going on in the world of Stella Donnelly. At the moment, there's a brand new album that's out this week. There is an Australian tour and an international tour for next year. But as mentioned, new record, Love and Fortune, out this week. Firstly, congratulations. How are you feeling with brand new music being put into the world?
It's feeling scary, but it's mainly just freeing. And I keep reminding myself that this isn't the only and last record I'm ever going to make. You know, you kind of get these high stakes feelings sometimes. Well, I certainly do. And it's just like I'm trying to look at releasing music as a step in the right direction towards getting to release more music, if you know what I mean. It's like keeping that creative wheel turning, I guess. And after taking a couple of years off, that wheel has stopped. So it's a scary but exciting prospect to get that moving again.
I can 100% resonate with that. I think that there's definitely something about, especially as you said, when there's a bit of a pause or a bit of a break, a bit of a rest and respite, that when you do start it up again, there's an element of like, have I still got it? Which, yes, you do. We'll just get that out of the way very quickly, but also, yeah, like who is listening? What has changed in the world around me outside of myself? And so I imagine that, yeah, there's a lot of things that are kind of going on within your world that make it for an interesting time. And then once it is put out to the people, it's almost then out of your hands, out of your control.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think as long as I keep remembering why I'm doing it, which is like, it's kind of like, it's that feeling of like, I want to make a song that, people can resonate with, but that feels aligned with me. And then also I want to create a live show that that makes it a joyful experience for people. Even if the songs are sad, I want to create a space for people to sing along and see their friends and connect with whoever I have supporting me, and just that the art form of a gig. I feel like I'm really looking forward to getting that going as well.
I absolutely love that. Have rehearsals begun for the tour? Again, we'll talk about the tour a little bit later, but have rehearsals kind of already started? Have you started planning out and mapping out how that's going to play?
They have. My neighbours are hating their lives at the moment. We've got a little shed out the back of our house where we cram 6 of us in there and try the songs. So it'll be nice to actually go and use a bigger space at some stage, because at the moment it feels like we're a bit of a shed band, which is nice. But yeah, we're just kind of in that stage of like, okay, here are all the parts. Let's just get the parts down. And, then we'll start kind of growing the show and the set list and all of that.
That is incredibly exciting to hear. As mentioned, this new record, Love and Fortune, it's out this week. It is the 3rd record in your discography. And I am curious, I know that there was a lot to be said previously, I want to say maybe like 10, 15 years ago, in terms of a almost cliche, dreaded second record and the follow-up and things like that. I'm curious whether there's anything these days with the 3rd record or just with putting out music, because I imagine that in the age of 2025, in terms of how quickly everything moves, whether there's any thoughts on the pressure of the music that you're making in terms of the following up on the success of both Beware of the Dogs and Flood.
To me, the 3rd record felt like I could do anything I want. When I made the record, I wasn't signed to any labels or anything. Nobody knew that I was making a record. And so I've been very lucky that Remote Control Dash have picked it up since. But, in that time, it was a record purely made for me. And I felt more like when I wrote my EP Thrush Metal than I have in the previous 2 records. So it definitely had a freeing feeling. It kind of reminded me of turning 30, where it's like there's this daunting feeling of like you're turning 30. And then once you're 30, you're like, I'm the youngest in my decade now. Like I feel great. I'm a spring chicken. So I feel like that about music now as well. It's just like, okay, Beware of the Dogs went a lot bigger than I ever anticipated, ever. And it didn't even go that big. But for me, living in Perth, it was just like such a huge experience for me. And so I guess I've had to kind of grapple with that, my relationship with that, and also my relationship with writing songs and trying to make sure that the songs I write are not being influenced by trying to stay on any sort of wave of success. It's a tricky one. It's a tricky one to balance.
I can only imagine trying to find that kind of perfect line of being able to do both and find it and do it successfully as well, that both sounds good, is audibly good as not as a musical product, but, as the output for the artist, but also what feels right for you as well. Because I could be very wrong, but I think no one would argue with me that Stella Donnelly is an artist of her own convictions, that you are very much, it has to sit right with yourself for it to be put out. When you did return earlier this year with the double A-side Standing Ovation and Baths especially felt like a bit of a reset. For anyone who hasn't heard it, it is this beautiful, almost a cappella track that is just talking on, I guess, musings of everyday life, but it did almost feel like I don't want to say palate cleanser, but it felt like it was almost a reintroduction for yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I paired Baths with a video of me walking on a jetty in Altona in the middle of winter and jumping in to the bay. And, it was a painful experience, to be honest. It was freezing. And so, yeah, it definitely felt like a bit of a reset. And, coming out with a mostly a cappella song for my first single is also a little bit of a stubborn me moment of like, this is exactly what I want to be putting out, and I know it's not commercially, the number one pick. And so that was a really nice think it was a really great way for me to re-emerge, I guess, publicly.
I can't speak to, the commercial side of it. I'm not sure if there's a better word for that. But I think that, speaking both for myself and a number of people, that Baths definitely did that. I think that it clicked in terms of it's not just, another album cycle or another new piece of music from another Australian artist. It definitely seemed like yourself, Stella, was coming back and had intention of kind of wanting to reset and then build again from that new start. Love and Fortune, we've been lucky enough to have a listen to it before having a chat today, so I appreciate the opportunity to do that. It is a gorgeous, gorgeous record. I feel that with each record that kind of goes by, you continue to build upon your songwriting and upon the sonics. I know that Flood kind of had a little bit more piano than guitar, which was previously commented on other interviews, and I want to say for this one as well, it seems like there's some more piano again, almost, would we say?
Yeah, it's funny. I felt like it was a guitar record, and then we cut a bunch of songs, like a couple of songs towards the end, and I was like, oh shit, they were two guitar songs. And so, I hadn't thought about whether it was going to be more piano-based or guitar-based, but the themes, I guess, carried, which songs I wanted to be on the record. And as it happens, it ended up, I guess, definitely the more solo-y songs have ended up being piano songs rather than guitar songs this time around. Yeah.
Is there anything that you think has drawn you to creating the songs? I imagine that, and please correct me if I'm wrong, that those songs are being composed on piano, that it's something that you're doing that way. Do you think that something's changed within yourself in terms of songwriting, that it's easier to write on, or it's easier to kind of find the tone or the vibe that you're looking for with the subject matter on piano?
Yeah, absolutely. I think these songs, if I tried to play those songs on guitar, I would feel like I was faking it a little bit. And I think the songs are pretty like hard on sleeve, and as probably as vulnerable as I get. So I feel like there's definitely more vulnerability. Even just the physicality of playing a piano has way more, there's nothing kind of between you, The guitar can kind of be a bit of a shield sometimes. And so, I think it's just how it happened. And I do love the guitar though so much. I've been writing lots of songs lately on guitar, so maybe the pendulum is swinging back.
That's the thing. It always kind of swings and roundabouts. Things come back into a cycle, and there's definitely guitars on this record. Let me make very clear, it's not a piano only album, but when listening to a number of the tracks, I kind of kept noticing that the intimacy that was built with the piano as well, which you can definitely hear. I'm hoping you might indulge me a little bit. I wanted to talk about one of my favourite tracks on the record, which was Please Everyone. It's kind of in the second half, gorgeous track, and also talks about the reality of people pleasing and and trying to do that. I'm wondering whether you might share what inspired that track or kind of where it came from.
Yeah, that track and a lot of the record is around, the ending of friendships or the ending of a relationship, endings in general. And that particular song is written about, when you're no longer, when you've been through a breakup of some sort, but that person is doing exactly the same things as you, but somewhere else. Mm-hmm. So it's just that feeling of like, okay, like they've probably got their period right now because I've got mine, or they'll be bird watching somewhere, or they'll be doing these things because I know that they are still living their lives, but we're just doing it really separately now. And so it's kind of just touching on that. And I got a lot of field recordings in Melbourne of some birds, and kind of infiltrated the song with those. But I actually recorded this song in the UK with Ellie Mason. I was having a was in between tours, and I was staying in Ramsgate, which is like a little near Dover, I guess. It's like a very kind of grey seaside place. I was there in the winter, so it's probably lovely now. But yeah, and so this was the song that came out of that. Yeah.
It's a gorgeous track. Thank you very much for kind of letting me ask about that. There is quite a lot of vulnerability across this record, and I know that, again, that speaking to your songwriting credit, you've never been one to kind of shy away from saying how you feel and whether that is raw, honest, vulnerable. I know that, and if you're okay to talk about it, fantastic. If not, please let me know, that there was a bit of a break between these two records, that there was a bit of a questioning of whether music and songwriting was something that you wanted to pursue or whether music was the right thing. And obviously we're very lucky that that has not been the case. We're obviously talking about a new album, lucky for us. But I imagine that being faced with something like that can be quite daunting and quite scary, especially if you are an artist of your caliber, touring the world, putting out albums, that then having that realization is a bit frightening.
Yeah. I think there was a lot changing in my life around that time. And there was a lot changing that I was like, I don't know if I want to write about this. I'm feeling there's a lot of shame in losing a friend, or there's a lot of shame in whatever. And so I was really hesitant to kind of go there for ages. So I got a job in a bakery and forgot about music for a while. And then I started playing in a bunch of other bands and going to shows and kind of being like, oh, I love this. I can, this is kind of what I can do. So in the end, I had to make a decision. I was like, do I hide away? Do I kind of like, do I let this thing stop me from writing and playing, or do I just do it and be brave and kind of go towards it? And so with the record, I decided to kind of set some limitations for myself within each song, so because you've obviously got such an array of emotions when it comes to a breakup. And so I was like, okay, I started writing a very petty song, and then that started becoming a bit more apologetic. And I was like, wait, stop. I'm just going to let this song be petty, and then let the next song be, guilt or whatever. So I kind of tried to keep each song as like a different stage, I guess, of that process.
I imagine in doing that, though, it allows, because sometimes, and I hate to be terribly cliche in using the word cathartic, but sometimes with songwriting, it is getting out, and in its purest form, those actual feelings and emotions. And so if you're trying to work through one kind of emotion or feeling and then resolve it in that same song, I imagine you're not doing yourself justice.
Absolutely. And it's also not doing the song justice. And, as with, I'm sure, every artist out there, no song is truly about one thing. And I think by limiting my emotion or feeling or theme to one thing, it allowed me to actually expand on that character in the song, or expand on the narrative and, go a little bit deeper. And I felt like it really helped to deepen the stories. Yeah.
I absolutely love that. Wondering whether you might be able to share with us the origins of the Stella Donnelly songwriting story in general. Where did you first kind of fall in love with songwriting, or where did you find it? And then, what inspired you to make your own start?
I grew up listening to so much music, obviously, as I'm sure we all did, but Dad always had Workers' Playtime by Billy Bragg on, and I guess, I was too young to be conscious of how it was influencing me, but that particular record is a really perfect blend of political and heartbreak, just like suburban heartbreak.
Yeah.
And I guess that kind of has influenced the way that I write, and I guess given me permission to kind of sing what I want. And I remember the first song I wrote was a song called Our Place, and it was about being like playing around at my nan and granddad's house. But when I listened back to a little recording of it a few years ago, I'm fully ripping off a Billy Bragg riff. So that's how I know I was very much influenced by him. Yeah, and I guess that those influences have changed, but I think I was about 14 when I wrote that song.
Which is, for a 14-year-old, being influenced by Billy Bragg is quite impressive, and having even being able to hear those influences then is also very, very impressive. So kudos to yourself, because that's most 14-year-olds would not have that kind of power.
Well, I didn't know any of this. You know, it was only when my dad heard it and Dad was like, "That's a Billy Bragg song. What are you doing?"
Have you, what am I thinking that I've seen? Have you ever had the chance to meet Billy or tour or play?
Yeah. Meet your heroes, people. Meet your heroes. He's the most wonderful person. I was lucky enough to play at his stage at Glastonbury, at the left field stage there. And then I was lucky enough to go and watch him play last time he was here. And he is just a really, really good guy. He's just a really good guy. And he, you know, he has moved with the times. He has allowed himself to learn and grow and adapt to humanity so much. And I feel like you know, for men his age, he's such a great inspiration for men his age, I think, you know, because he
100%.
Yeah. And you put him next to Morrissey and you kind of look at two different directions, you know, that people have gone. And I absolutely love Billy Bragg.
I absolutely love that. It does. The fact that, as you kind of already spoke to it, but the fact that he has continued to be a man of his conviction and a man that kind of stands for what he believes in. And as you said, using Morrissey as an example, where we've seen certain people get lost along the way or change their thoughts, it is a really fantastic thing to see someone like that, in music. In terms of influences or, I guess, other heroes, are there people that continue to be added to that list as you find yourself getting older and putting out new music? Does that list kind of continue to grow or shape or mold in different ways?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, anyone that's out there playing music still, you know, I look at Patti Smith. I look at sort of the fluctuations of her career and creativity. I look at Sharon Van Etten, who decided to go into acting for a bit to take a break from. Now she's just touring the world, and they're just so many heroes for me. And even within Australia, looking at Lindy Morrison and what she's done musically, but also as a human, and what she does with Support Act. And there's just those are people who create communities around them, as well as play music. And I think I really look up to that, and I hope one day that I can try and get some of that for myself.
To be completely honest with you, and this is not simply to inflate your ego just because we're on the same Zoom call, is that I do see a lot of artists these days, a lot of younger female and non-male identifying artists coming up that do reference Stella Donnelly as a guiding light or as a reference point or as an influence on their music. And so I think you're already kind of maybe having that kind of impact on a community.
Oh, that's really lovely to hear. I would love to not only be a musical, but also create space. Yeah, I guess the playing live is what will connect me to other artists, and that's the thing I've taken a break from, and that's the thing that I've most missed. And I feel like I turned my back a little bit on the community that I'd built with my music, and so that's something I'm so grateful that I get to do again.
Well, as I mentioned at the start of the conversation, there's a lot of excitement around these shows. As mentioned, I think it's February and March in Australia, and then the UK and Europe in March, and ahead from March thereon. We'll make sure that there are links in today's show notes for people to purchase these tickets. But from this new record, is there a certain track you're kind of looking forward to bringing into that live space and playing around with, or seeing how it lands with an audience?
Oh, yeah. I'm really looking forward to playing Laying Low. That's the last song on the record, and it's kind of like it's the song that kind of is like telling everyone that I'm over it. It's like I'm like I've written this really sad heartbreak record, but I'm moving on now. And so as much as I look forward to playing those songs and sharing those, Laying Low is this moment of joy. And I wrote it from one of Marcel, my drummer's drum beats. So it kind of came from there. So it's already got a very live feeling to it. Mm-hmm. So I'm really excited to kind of make that happen on stage.
That's super exciting. I know, what was the other track? There was a song on the record, Year of Trouble, which is a gorgeous song. It's very kind of heartfelt, and it's a bit of a slower track, but I believe maybe at some point was meant to be, there was some intention for the dance floor.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. So maybe we'll work that into the live set. But yeah, it was initially meant to be kind of like Dancing on My Own by Robin energy. Mm-hmm. And then it was the recording was looming and we hadn't gotten it together yet. So we're like, let's just put it on as it is and honor the song as it is. But like one day we'll rain check it and, we'll kind of try and make something bit more sad dance floor-esque out of it.
Hopefully these live shows give you an opportunity to maybe bridge the gap, maybe like a, not remix, but what I'm trying to do, something like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I'm writing notes right now. Next rehearsal, let's do it.
Dance remix of Year of Trouble. Stella, we usually kind of wrap things up with our guests asking what they're currently listening to. For yourself, is there anything that's on high rotation at the moment?
Anything on high rotation is, let me just check.
Yeah.
I have to check because I've got terrible memory with this stuff. At the moment, well, actually, I've been listening to the latest Blood Orange album. Mm-hmm. It's so beautiful and sad. And yeah, the song Mind Loaded from that, which features Caroline Polachek and Lorde, actually, is just such a gorgeous song. So yeah, that record's been playing a lot in my house lately.
Gorgeous record. The versatility of Dev Hynes at times just astounds me.
Yeah, he is an inspo. Going back to my inspirations, he can once, and I really respect that. Yeah.
100%. Look, fantastic choice. And thank you, Stella, for coming onto the podcast. The brand new record from yourself, Love and Fortune, is out this week, and we'll make sure that there are links in today's show notes for people to purchase the record, buy tickets to those shows we were talking about. But Stella, thank you so much for coming on. It's been a delight chatting.
Thanks for having me, Simon. Nice to meet you.